Texas is slowly reopening to mixed response. Many Texans are excited, but others are fearful. Governor Greg Abbott joins us now. Governor, we aired it live yesterday when you announced more businesses would be opening this Friday. But you said if Texans don't practice social distancing, the restrictions will come back. What would trigger those limitations?
If we see a dramatic rise in the percentage of people who are testing positive, right now, the San Antonio area, for example, is doing a good job. Your positive rate is about a 3% growth rate of the number of people who are increasing the positive rate in the San Antonio area, and that is categorized as good. And that's something that shows that this whole issue is being managed very well. Another very important factor is, what is the hospitalization rate? Do we have crowded hospitals like what we saw in New York, or do we have an inability to respond to the health care needs of people who test positive for COVID-19 like you saw in New York, New Jersey, New Orleans, etc.? And the fact there is we have plenty of hospital beds across the state of Texas. In fact, today, there are fewer people hospitalized than there were yesterday. So these are good signs that we see. And so our systems are working just fine. The strategies are working. I applaud people in San Antonio for wearing masks, practicing good distancing strategies, sanitizing your hands. But most importantly, I must emphasize, we must do all we can to protect the senior population age 65 and older, because more than 70% of the deaths are people 65 and older. If we can protect them, we can go a long way to ensuring we can continue to open up business in Texas.
Governor, a Dallas hair salon owner defied your order and reopened early on April 30th. She received numerous warnings, refused to close, and was finally sentenced to 7 days in jail. Now, you issued a statement today that she should not be jailed. If not jail time, how should these restrictions be enforced?
There are so many different ways that enforcement can be achieved. But listen, I was clear about this before in an issue in Harris County where there were threats about arresting people for not wearing masks. And understand this, arresting people and putting them in jail for doing something like not wearing a mask or trying to make a living is contrary to the principles and values in the state. When at the same time in Dallas County, where that woman was arrested, in Dallas County, their district attorney said they are not going to arrest and prosecute anybody who has stolen property valued at $750 or less, and they've talked about letting people out of jail because of COVID-19. And so it is unacceptable for them to be letting other known criminals out of jail and not prosecuting other criminals while instead putting in jail someone who's just trying to earn a living.
Governor, you talk about the state of Texas and all of its 254 counties being different. What can you tell us specifically about San Antonio and Bexar County and how we have handled this pandemic?
Listen, San Antonio was actually on the front lines of responding to this. You probably will recall that before anyone even tested positive in Texas, San Antonio was on the receiving end of people being flown in from these cruise ships. And I worked closely with both the mayor and county judge in San Antonio as we managed that situation. So there were not a whole lot of people brought from Lackland Air Force Base into the Texas Center for Infectious Disease. And through managing that, we knew we would be prepared for what would be an increase in the number of people around Bexar County who contract positive for COVID-19. But I really commend the leadership in San Antonio, but really the people in San Antonio for stepping up and making sure they are able to contain the spread of COVID-19. It's because of their success and because of their commitment and their perseverance that we are now beginning to be able to open up businesses in Texas.
Governor, thank you for your time.